Alright, moving on to your relationship and marriage lines. That area just above the flirt lines, just below the bottom ring of that Mercury or that little finger, are your relationships and your marriages. These horizontal lines sit between the top of the heart line and the bottom of the ring on that little finger. There's a timeline there, and you divide these up into 3 sections. Now coming up from the bottom, that first section is your 20s and 30s, the middle section is your 40s and 50s, and that third section is 60 and above. You'll read those lines beginning from the back of the hand, which is the start of the relationship or the marriage, towards the palm, which is later on. The lighter lines will be relationship lines, and the darker ones, the more prominent lines, will stand out and have a great density and color to them, reflect your marriages. So as we take a look at those horizontal lines on the edge of the right hand, and you can see that relationship line, it goes along pretty good. Then you have this line that comes down on the bottom, kind of a growing apart line, because it kind of stops there and then it just kind of separates out. But then you have this very strong marriage line. It's a good solid line. It has a nice color to it, a nice depth to it. Now you have kind of an overlap on that line, and what that means is a physical separation. Now that's nothing to worry about. What that means is that maybe your partner works in a different city, or they're in military service, or something where there's kind of a physical separation. But it's a very strong line, goes along nice and consistent. And then we don't see any other marriage lines there. Now in order to find a timeline on this, we go over to the left hand and we look on the fate line, and we look for this little Y that sprouts off of there, and you have one right there, right around age 33 years old. But it's a very strong marriage line. Now the children lines come down vertically from the bottom of that ring around the Mercury finger, and you count them from the inside of your palm to the outer edge. And these can be biological children, stepchildren, adopted, godchildren, or nieces and nephews. Any child that you build a strong bond with. And as we take a look at those vertical lines, and they come right off that bottom ring of that pinky finger, right on the edge of that right hand, and you actually have 3 very strong lines there. Then there's a little gap and a bunch of little lines behind that. Those are grandchildren. We don't usually count those grandchildren in your hands. Those are better counted in your children's hands. But you have 3 very strong children lines, a good close bond.